Hello, welcome to August 3rd, 2023. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation exercise. This is something that I do each and every morning, a little bit after waking up. It's now 4:42 a.m. I do this in order to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours, including last night, to see how I did applying my principles and objectives to the various challenges and opportunities that I met. I also think about the coming day, forecast the challenges and opportunities that I might meet, and ready myself for how to best deal with them and how to improve upon any opportunities that I may encounter. But before we start, let's open with a poem. With keeping with John Keats, we'll read two poems. First, we'll just read through yesterday's poem without study, and then we'll study and then read a new poem. Yesterday's poem was called Sweet. Sweet is the greeting of eyes. And as usual with Keats, the first line is the name of the poem. Sweet, sweet is the greeting of eyes, and sweet is the voice in its greeting. When adieus have grown old and goodbyes fade away where old time is retreating, warm the nerve of a welcoming hand, and earnest a kiss on a brow, when we meet over sea and over land, where furrows are new to the plow. I don't know the background of this poem. I should have looked it up, but I really do suspect this was a thought forward to a reunion, perhaps in one of the colonies, Australia, America, Canada, someone leaving England to go and to then meet their loved ones who would arrive later to join them. An experience that I know well, I know a lot about. Okay, today's poem has 5 words that we need to understand or study a little bit. The title of the poem is On Visiting the Tomb of Burns. So I looked it up. This is referring to Robert Burns, who died in 1796, a Scottish English poet, apparently the poet of Scotland or something like that, some such title. And I actually looked up a photo, found the image of his tomb. The first word here that I wanted to look, actually 6 words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. The next one is Paley, or I think at the end. Paley. I think Paley. It's a word that means, it's a strange word. It means divided by like vertical slats. I don't know quite what the context here is. The sentence is, the short-lived Paley summer is but one. I'm just trying to think, it must be like the seasons coming like slats. I don't know. It's a mystery. The next word is ague, which is an archaic term often related to symptoms of tuberculosis. It refers to fever and chills. So imagine cold, chilly, etc. So there's definitely a sense of the seasons, strong sense of the seasons in this poem. So the line from that one is, from winter's ague, so from the cold, the chill of winter. And then another word is Minos, which is a capitalized word, so it's a proper name. This is a god of the ancient world, judge of the afterlife, one of the sons of Zeus. So in that case, and that's where the reference is. I think that since this is referring to Burns, a dead poet, Minos being maybe the judge of the afterlife in some capacity there. And the next word is wan. Yeah, wan. Cast wan upon it. And this means, wan refers to being pale or sickly. So I think that that Keats visited the tomb of Burns in summer, or maybe the start of summer, just as it was loosening its grip on winter. And there's lots of references here to cold and damp, and not damp, but cold and chilly. Maybe the Scottish winters. I think it's in Scotland where he was born. All right, let's read it. On Visiting the Tomb of Burns. And this is one of those rare poems that the first line is not the title. The town, the churchyard, and the setting sun. The clouds, the trees, the rounded hills all seem, though beautiful, cold, strange as in a dream I dreamed long ago, now new begun. The short-lived pally summer is but one, from winter's ague for 1 hour's gleam. Through sapphire warm their stars do never beam. All is cold beauty, pain is never done. For who has mind to relish, meanwhile, the real of beauty, free from that dead hue, fickly imagination and sick pride can wast upon it, wan upon it. I knew I'd get it wrong. Burns with honor due, I have oft honored thee. Great shadow, hide thy face. I sin against thy native skies. I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to picture Burns visiting the tomb in the chilly late winter, and maybe some morning time, and it's in the stars. He's talking about the stars. They never beam. And then, what does he say here? For who has a mind to relish, Minos wise, the real of beauty? I don't know quite what he knows what he means by the real of beauty. Capitalized B, so it's personifying beauty in some way. For who has mind to relish, Minos wise, the real of beauty? So I'm picturing Minos, the god of the afterlife, the judge, with being sanguine and wise in that capacity. And maybe he sees Burns in the same way. For who has mind to relish, Minos wise, the real of beauty, free from that dead hue, fickly imagination and sick pride, cast wine upon it. Burns with honor due, I have oft honored thee. Great honor, Burns with honor due, I have oft honored thee. Great shadow, hide thy face. I sin against thy native skies. I don't know that last part. Hopefully it'll sink in a little more. I'll be ready to read it tomorrow and it'll open up to me. This is often the case. All right, on with the good life. First, yesterday and last night. Another good night of sleep. Rich, deep sleep. Not waking up like ever anymore. Ever since I decided to retire. And even more so, even ever since I started speaking it aloud. It's a powerful, forceful thing. My sleepless nights ended. And then the strain and stress of work, even when I'm at work, even when the strain and stress is there, it isn't there anymore. Like I've had a couple of incidents this week where stress should have risen, yet I just sat there like a stone. Not indifferent. I'm still actively engaged. I'm doing my job. I'm doing a fine job, if I do think. But yet, the job is just pale and inconsequential to my greater well-being. And it's because I'm headed out the door. Now it's funny. So I don't feel like I've succeeded in managing my stress. I'm evading my stress. That's what I'm doing. I'm retreating. I've lost. I never won. I spent my entire working career, my working life, suffering under the stress and strain of my work. And I never overcame that. So I chalked that one up to the loss column. But it's a wholesome and satisfying discovery to find that there can be peace when the race is ended. Of a sort. No, it is not of a sort. It is a genuine peace. It's a very genuine peace, and especially because it's come in due time. And I don't know how that would sit with, if I could share this video with my younger self and tell myself, well, younger self, there's not much I can offer you in terms of peace. I mean, sure, I've got the creed that might help, and I think it would help if I could have had this when I was in my 30s. I think it made a big difference. But yet to say, I don't know how you're going to manage the strain and stress of work and just have to suffer through it. But you'll reach, age 60, and then you can find some peace. So not much to say about yesterday in terms of any of that, except to say that the new frame of mind, the exit frame of mind, is I'll come up with a better term for it, is all present now at work. The good life. 7 objectives. To be always ready to die. To make good and effective use of time. To develop and maintain good and sound life principles. To cultivate good emotional reactions. To perform good actions. To recognize true limits and true opportunity. To do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Now for the 34 principles. War, reason, homunculus, anchor hold, home of good and evil, purpose, atomic principle, principle of nature, the pirate ride, maturity, social principle, principle of family, public speaking, temperance, life will not go well, the horror show, that which must be born, the feast of woeful, distraction, agency and the great indifference, the best seat in the house, the restless man, the path of wildness, the great life adventure, the risk of avoiding risk, sin and damnation, complete oblivion, the bullseye aim, no, the season of philosophy, script writing, then the bullseye aim, the uphill climb, arena and utility, nothing is enough, and the principle of fun. Almost got them in nice order, but I kind of stumbled there at that one point. The season of philosophy is one of the ones that gets me. It's like a little root sticking up out of the trail. I just stumble over it. Or sometimes I miss it altogether. All right, now as for today, huge, ginormous day today. It's almost a career closing day today. So when I left my current job at the cusp of 21, was it? Or 20? Yeah, 20, I don't remember anymore. I went and worked for the city of Ventura for a couple of years. And I had I had 3 projects, but I had really 2 main projects there. And I realized pretty soon after I got there that I wanted to go back to my old job. It was the long commute. Was really tough. I was living in Airbnbs, and it was different. I liked my old position. I liked the challenges of my old job. I liked the agencies that I was working for. Nothing against Ventura. It's just that you just realized the other job was a better fit, especially to not have to do that ginormous commute and live in Airbnbs all week. So I resolved that I would go back to the county of Riverside, where I work now. I would try to find my way back, but not without fulfilling my commitments first, because I had signed on board to take on those 2 big projects. So I committed out, said I'm going to finish these 2 big projects, and I did. So once those 2 projects were done, it was a complicated thing. It seems like every segue in my life is complicated, and in hindsight I look back, I go, oh, I can't believe how the hell did I pull that off? Reaching out to the old organization, you say, hey, are you looking for anybody? And finding that they were. Well, in fact, I think it was the opposite. I think, if I remember right, I was contacted. Yeah, in fact, that's how it was the opposite. I actually, serendipity. I was contacted by them, asking if I might be interested, and I went, hey, well, I'm quite interested. In fact, that's how it worked out. And then I wound up, but it took a long time for all this to happen. But in the end, the timing just worked out perfect, as these things so often do. It's amazing, these complicated life segues. So often the timing just astonishing little bits of things. I mean, I'm not a religious man. I don't believe in any heavenly oversight, but sometimes the timing is just amazing. Just like yesterday, I got the notice over the weekend that our lease is due, and I was like, oh, how am I going to do this, right? Because I'm supposed to leave. Yumiko's leaving, and then I'm going to leave America, and then the lease is due, and what am I going to do? And then the timing on the lease renewal contract offered 4 options, right? What, 4 options? And 5 options actually, and if considering the month-to-month option. And it turned out that if I picked option number 3, the lease could end bang smack when Yumiko leaves, and I could then switch to month until I'm ready to go, or I could leave and go do something else, wander around California motorhome or whatever. I mean, where do these things come from? Anyway, back to the subject. The timing was perfect. I could go back. I mean, the timing was perfect, and I left, completed my job in Ventura, completed my project. I mean, perfect timing. I was able to depart that. I had about a month and a half free time between jobs, which was great, because it helped facilitate our move from Irvine to Menifee and a couple of other things. I was able to tidy up some of my writing during that period, a whole bunch of good stuff. Anyway, and then started that job. And then when I got hired back at County Riverside, they gave me 3 projects, and the big projects, consequential ones. And here you go. And today marks the day that I effectively finished the 3rd successfully. Probably the most successful project I've done is clean and to the mark project in a long time. Well, I mean, of all my projects, if I do say so myself, go well. Maybe they have their things, but for the most part, I'm able to finish them within budget and within deliver the scope. I'm not always on the schedule, as is often the case, but that's the trouble when you're given a project that you didn't have a hand in writing the contract for, which is always the case. Anyway, back on the thing. Today's the day, August 3rd, 2023, my 3rd project that I was finished. Remember, my criteria for leaving Ventura was I'm going to finish my projects, I'll fulfill my commitment, and then I'll be free. And I didn't have that same frame of mind until today for Riverside, but today's the day. So from this point forward, for the next 15 months, what is it, 15? July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, it's 17 months. For the next 17 months, they already have kind of my work laid out for me, what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do, and it's mostly just kind of carrying on and continuing, tidying up and improving on the projects that I've been working on. Nothing new has been on the horizon, although I have my ideas. I would love to become the AI guy where I work and share the use of AI. That would be my swan song. So I'm not pushing necessarily, but I'm promoting that every chance I get. But anyway, back on track. Today's the day. I mean, literally, I could, tomorrow, I could retire tomorrow. Everything's in place. It would be better if I stayed another 17 months. But I literally could go. Well, not really, because I don't want to leave Emily behind until she's done. I want the family out of here first. Then I'll go. But today's the day. The project is done. We are our big event today. Well, I've got to get through today, but all signs indicate that we're going to get through today. Big day today. A long day of work today for our big final go live. And then I'm done. And the rest is just winding down. I keep getting these emails and solicitations on LinkedIn for, you want to get your PMP certification, you want to add some skills, all these things. How about an MBA? It's like, sometimes people call me up and I'll get on the phone and I'll say, hey, I'm retiring in 17 months. I'm not the guy. I don't need any more of these skills. So no, thank you. I'm all done. I want to, maybe if you can teach me how to garden, that'd be nice. So as for today I just have to basically hammer through today, and I've got the whole day lined out up already. Everything's in place, and I can knock them out. This is like throwing baseballs at the county fair, at knocking over milk bottles. Bam! I've got them all. I've been practicing like crazy for all of my career. I just got to knock over, like, what is it, 15 milk bottles today. Sounds like a lot, but really it's not that bad there because the milk bottles are very close. Bam, 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 bam. So, well, if I do, I hope I don't sound too self-congratulatory. It's not my purpose. My purpose in doing these videos is to, first of all, as a self-meditation, to ready myself for the day. So the challenges that I need to do today is to keep my balance, equanimity, and composure, to knock over the bottles one by one, to not get ahead of myself, and to keep my balance. But also, if anybody happens to see this, to share the points along the way. I mean, for example, Emily, she caught me yesterday afternoon, and she said that she had lunch yesterday with one of her high school teachers. He bought her ramen, and they had lunch in Irvine. And she wanted to tell me that apparently he watches or follows my posts, and he wanted to convey to Emily that he felt some connection between us, and he's hoping that before we leave that he and I can have maybe have a beer together. And I'd like to do that. So I share these things because, and Emily told me how she related to him some of her thoughts about the things that I do, the writing, etc., which I didn't think that Emily was really aware of, but clearly she's cognizant of, which means a lot to me. And I was like, well, it's good that I make a good, strong effort for this, because maybe I can be helpful to others along the way. I mean, I really wish that I really wish that I had a creed, such as the Good Life, 20 or 30 years ago. I really think it would have made a big difference to me, especially one that was secular, because back then I wasn't, and I still am not, even lesser now, interested in any creed that requires us belief in supernatural agency. Give me down-to-earth stuff. Okay, well, I think I've gone on and on enough about that. There's just a couple of things I need to do, and then I can wind down, finish this off. These are, one, I need to go over my story. How's the life story coming? Well, the life story right now, the book is a long ways through. Don't know how many pages are left, but I'm at the point now where we're going to finishing off the chapter of the parental and career life, and about to start the chapter of the retired life, and that's going to be interesting. Jeez Louise. It's like Christmas has arrived, or like just around the corner. I don't know, I'm still working on how to do this life story thing, but I think it's good to reflect upon. It's a new piece that I added to the Good Life. I added to Going Alone. It's part of the creed now too, is to reflect upon our life story. Ask ourselves, what story are we telling, and how are we doing with the telling of the story, which is more or less the living of it. I think I'm doing all right, especially given the effort that I make, the daily effort to do this, which really does reinforce, codify even, my effort, and document it. And the documentation is also helpful because I take it more seriously. If this camera wasn't on, if I couldn't see myself there, and if I didn't know that there was probably a chance that someone might see this, I would probably be a little more careless with this. But it causes me to be more deliberate and to do a better job. Last thing. Am I ready to die? Are my affairs in order? Are my relationships sound? And is my life's work complete? Yes, yes, yes. The affairs are quite in order. If I die right now, Yumiko gets my retirement for life. Once we retire, if I die, Yumiko carries on with my retirement for life. If she dies first, my retirement carries on for life. We're covered for life. That's great. And plus we have all of the other retirement savings all banked up, ready to go. I mean, the only thing that can get us now is ill health and death. So yeah, affairs are in order. Daughter's done. College is nearly paid for. She's going to graduate without any debts. that's another dream come true. Second one is our relationship sound, perfectly sound. There's not a single person that I need to have that I have any unfinished business with. Of course, there's the dead, but there's nothing I can do about that. I wish I could talk to my dad. There's nothing terrible that my dad died. He died when I was young and foolish and didn't get a chance. I wish I could have a chance to share a more composed conversation with him from this point, but that's a wanton dream nobody gets. So yeah, that's foolish. And then life's work complete. Oh yeah, going along's totally done. I'm very pleased with that work. Everything else is, and I'm almost done with Stoic Poetry, Volume 1. Probably have it done this week, and it's Thursday. So what's that? My life is done, if not finished. And I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care.